Professor Dr. Namita Rajput, Professor, Department of Commerce, Sri Aurobindo College, University of Delhi. In our ongoing series of Art of Being Happy, today we will be talking more on hormonal happiness, how the hormones can be regulated, about the well-being, and talking about the self-talk and the self-love. Now, positive self-talk, it is a very powerful tool, and the self-talk which is positive, it has a very powerful influence on the hormonal regulation and overall well-being. The way we talk to ourselves and the internal dialogue that we have can significantly impact our emotions, our thoughts, and the physiological responses. So here's how positive self-talk happiness is influencing our hormonal regulation and of course the well-being. The first is the reduced stress hormones. The positive self-talk can really help reduce the levels of the stress hormones such as cortisols in our bodies. When we encourage and engage ourselves in negative self-talk, we activate the stress response and elevate the cortisol levels, which can have a detrimental effects on our health and our well-being. By consciously practicing a positive self-talk, we can counteract a negative thoughts, manage the stress more effectively, and promote a healthier hormonal balance. Next is we have enhanced self-confidence and self-efficacy. The positive self-talk helps to foster the self-confidence and self-efficacy, the belief in one's ability to succeed. And when we use a positive affirmations and self-encouragement, we cultivate a mindset that reinforces our capabilities and the strength. And this positive self-perception boosts the confidence, reduces the self-doubt, and positively influences our hormonal responses. Next is we have improved emotional well-being. The positive self-talks, it nurtures a more positive emotional state, and when we replace a self-criticism and self-judgment and the negative thoughts with supportive and compassionate self-talk, we promote the emotional well-being. The positive self-talk can really help counteract the negative emotions, increase the optimism, and foster a more balanced emotional state and ultimately impacting the hormonal regulations. Next is we have increased happiness hormones. The positive self-talk has been linked to a release of happiness hormones such as dopamine and serotonin, and by engaging in positive and uplifting a self-talk, we stimulate the reward centers in our brain, leading to increased dopamine release, and additionally, a positive mindset and self-perception, it promotes the release of serotonin, contributing to a feeling of happiness and the overall well-being. Next is we have improved resilience and coping skills. The positive self-talk helps building a resilient and effective coping skills, and when faced with the challenges and the setbacks, a positive internal dialogue allows us to approach the difficulties with a growth mindset and view them as opportunities for learning and for growth. This positive mindset reduces the stress levels, improves the problem-solving abilities, and also promotes the hormonal well-being. Next is we have enhanced self-compassion. The positive self-talk nurtures the self-compassion, which involves treating oneself with kindness and understanding and acceptance. And when we practice a self-compassion through a positive self-talk, we cultivate a supportive and nurturing inner voice. This self-compassion positively influences the hormonal regulation by reducing the stress and engaging and enhancing the emotional well-being. To harness the influence of the positive self-talk on the hormone regulation and well-being, it is very important to cultivate the self-awareness and consciously shift the negative self-talk patterns. Now, regularly practicing the positive affirmations, challenging the negative thoughts and replacing them with empowering and supporting statements can really help rewire our internal dialogue and promote a healthier hormonal balance. Additionally, mindful practices can assist in cultivating a self-awareness and redirecting a negative thought towards more positive and constructive self-talk. Let us now talk about the dopamine and unveiling its role in pleasure, reward, and hormonal well-being. Dopamine is essential for pleasure, reward, hormonal health. As a neurotransmitter, dopamine influences our emotions, motivation, and general well-being significantly. Dopamine influences the pleasure, reward, hormonal health as follows. The first is pleasure and reward. Dopamine is released in response to gratifying experience and rewards, and it is secreted in a very specific regions of the brain which are associated with pleasure and reward, and such as a nucleus accumbens. And when we engage in activities that bring us delight, satisfaction, or fulfillment or of our desires, so this dopamine release induces the feelings of delight, reinforcing our behaviors and motivating us to seek out our similar experiences. Dopamine is essential for motivation and goal-directed behavior. The release of dopamine in the brain rewards the pathways, increases our motivation to pursue and accomplish the objectives. It generates a sense of anticipation and exhilaration, propelling us to take action and work towards fruitful results. Dopamine is a potent intrinsic reward system, fueling our motivation, concentration, and perseverance. Next is we have hormonal well-being. The relationship between dopamine and hormonal health is extremely very close. It contributes to a sense of well-being and emotional stability, and when its levels are optimally calibrated and functioning, the dopamine interacts with other neurotransmitters and the hormones in the brain, such as serotonin, to modulate mood and hormonal equilibrium. The dopamine imbalances have been linked to mood disorders such as depression and addiction. Now, dopamine also plays a very significant function in the stress response. Dopamine levels can rise during the stressful situations, assisting to regulate and modulate a stress response. Dopamine can counteract the negative effects of the stress hormones such as cortisols by activating the brain reward pathways, thereby fostering a more balanced hormonal response and reducing the stress-related symptoms. Next we have is the addiction and pleasure-seeking behavior. The dopamine involvement in pleasure and reward pathways is closely related to addictive behaviors, and the dopamine levels can be elevated by drugs, substances, and certain behavior that produce intense pleasure or reward. So this reinforces the link between the pleasure experience and the substance or behavior, resulting in a cycle of seeking that reward. Now, it is very essential to note, however, that the healthy, non-addictive activities that provide pleasure and reward, such as participating in hobbies or achieving objectives, can also stimulate the dopamine release in a very positive and a balanced manner. Maintaining a very healthy dopamine balance is very essential for the overall health. Dopamine regulation and hormonal health can be supported by engaging in the activities that promote the genuine pleasure and reward. Establishing and achieving a meaningful objectives, cultivating a positive social connections, and it is very important to note that dopamine is only one element of the complex hormonal balance puzzle, and that a holistic approach that includes the lifestyle, the self-care, emotional well-being, they are very essential for maintaining a very healthy hormonal balance. So, the serotonin unveiling its impact on mood regulation and hormonal well-being. So let us know, what does the serotonin do? The serotonin is very essential for regulating the mood and maintaining the hormonal health. As a neurotransmitter, serotonin influences several physiological and physiological processes, including our emotions, sleep, metabolism, and overall health. How does the serotonin affect the mood regulation and the hormone health? This is a big question. It helps in regulating the mood. It helps in the emotional well-being. The serotonin aids in regulation of emotions and contributes to a very positive emotional state. The optimum serotonin levels, it fosters the sentiment of contentment, severity and serenity, and emotional fortitude. The serotonin influences the other regions of the brain which are responsible for emotional processing, thereby regulating the emotional responses to a stimuli and promoting an emotional balanced state. Let us now talk about the serotonin serves as an important role in the stress management and the body's response to stress. It modulates the release of the stress hormones such as cortisol and promotes the relaxation and the calmness. The adequate serotonin levels can mitigate the negative effects of chronic stress and promote a healthy stress response, thereby contributing to a hormonal health. The serotonin is involved in the regulation of appetite and digestion. The low levels of serotonin have been linked to increase the food appetites, particularly for the carbohydrates. This is due to the fact that the carbohydrate stimulates the serotonin production in the brain, resulting in a transient mood boost. However, maintaining a balanced diet and not relying solely on the food for serotonin regulation is also very essential. Then it also helps in regulating the sleep regulation. Serotonin is involved in the regulation of sleep patterns and the promotion of a helpful and the healthful sleep. It aids in the production of melatonin, the hormone that controls the sleep-wake cycle. Appropriate levels of serotonin contributes to enhanced sleep quality, whereas imbalances can cause sleep disturbances and insomnia. So melatonin is one of the most important hormone which helps in regulating the sleep-wake cycles. To boost the serotonin levels and promote a hormonal wealth, we have to take care of the following things: regular physical exercise, activities like deep meditation, breathing exercises, relaxing techniques, they help in boosting the serotonin levels in the body. Consuming the food abundant in and amino acids, it helps in serotonin and can facilitate its production among these: turkey, salmon, almonds, seeds, and legumes. You have to get sufficient sunlight. Being exposed to a sunlight stimulates the serotonin and biosynthesis, so spending time outdoors can also have a very positive effect on the serotonin levels. Now consider a professional assistance. When experiencing a persistent mood disturbances or the symptoms of depression and anxiety, it is very essential to seek the advice of a healthcare professional who can actually provide an accurate diagnosis and appropriate support. We need to keep in mind that the serotonin regulation is intricate, with the genetics, lifestyle, and overall health in contributing to its balance. For optimum serotonin levels and hormonal health, it is very necessary to take holistic approach to the well-being that incorporates the various aspects of physical as well as the mental health. Let us now talk about the oxytocin fostering bonding and the social connections for hormonal well-being. Now, oxytocin plays a very critical role in fostering the social connections and the bonding, which contributes to the hormonal health. Oxytocin is released in a variety of social and intimate contexts, and it has a profound effect on our emotions, relationships, well-being as a whole. So here is how oxytocin promotes the social bonding and hormonal health. So oxytocin is a very important hormone when released with the social connection and empathy. The oxytocin contributes to the social connections and empathy. It fosters the empathy and compassion by enhancing our capacity to comprehend and to share the emotions of others. By increasing our receptivity to the social cues and encouraging the cooperative and the caring atmosphere and behaviors, oxytocin promotes the actually pro-social behavior and strengthens the social bonds. So this sense of connection and empathy contributes to our contentment and overall well-being. Then we have a stress reduction and relaxation. The oxytocin has stress relieving properties, thereby mitigating the negative effect of the tension on our bodies and mind. It counteracts the effects of stress hormones like cortisols by promoting relaxing, decreasing anxiety, enhancing the feeling of serenity. Positive social interactions and the release of oxytocin can really help a buffer against the negative hormonal effects of the stress. So, oxytocin is linked to a positive mood and emotional health. Now, oxytocin stimulates the sentiments of happiness, contentment and general positivity. The oxytocin is released when we engage in activities like social connections and bonding, such as spending time with the loved ones, participating in group activities, performing acts of kindness. This contributes to a moral positive emotional state and enhance the hormonal happiness. The oxytocin plays a significant role in reproductive health also, particularly during a childbirth and lactation period. It facilitates a labor contraction and contributes to a mother-child bonding. The oxytocin also stimulates the production of the milk and strengthens the emotion bond between a mother and a child, thereby contributing to their overall health. To promote the social connections and attachment for the hormonal health, we need to engage in the act of compassion, generosity for the benefit of others. So, generosity and altruism can stimulate the release of oxytocin and strengthens the social bond, nurturing a feeling of well-being. Participate in community events and group activities that fosters a sense of belonging and the social connections. And this can actually include joining societies, organizations, performing volunteer work wherever you meet like-minded people and cultivate a social relationships. Now practice mindfulness, active listening, and in your interconnections with others. Be truly present there in the moment. Employ into active listening, empathy, and a sincere interest in experience of the others. Mindful participation is very important when you are doing social interactions. It actually improves your character of relationships and also stimulates the release of oxytocin, which is very important for your hormonal well-being. Now we talk about the endorphins, that is unlocking the power of pain relief and the pleasure for hormonal well-being. Now endorphins release and it serves as a very essential painkiller relief and pleasure, thereby contributing to your hormonal health. Endorphins are neurotransmitters produced in response to a numerous stimuli by central nervous system and pituitary glands. How endorphins release the power of pain relief and delight for your hormonal health. The first is your pain relief. The endorphins have mood enhancing properties also, which can elevate the tension, anxiety and depression related symptoms. The endorphins interact with the brain receptors to promote the feeling of euphoria, contentment and relaxation when they are released. So this can actually help in enhancing the mood and emotional health as a whole. The endorphins interact with the brain receptors to promote the feelings of euphoria, contentment and relaxation when they are released. So this can actually help enhance the mood and emotional health as a whole. The endorphins are implicated in the brain's reward pathways and are associated with the pleasure and reward. Engaging in joyful activities like pastime, socializing, engaging in enjoyable experiences, it stimulates the endorphin release, which induces a feeling of pleasure and reinforces the behavior that promote the well-being and contentment. Endorphins have been shown to improve the functioning of the immune system also. Yes, it improves the immune system, which is very important for your body. They can also aid in regulation of immune responses and the promotion of immune cell production, contributing to overall physical health. Now, to activate the power of endorphins for healthy hormones, one must identify the activities that bring you joy. Identify the activities that bring you joy and incorporate them into your daily existence. It could be hobbies, spending time in the nature, listening to the music, dancing, and other activity that produces the positive emotions and delight. Practice mindfulness and meditation. It has been discovered that mindful practices, meditation increase endorphin levels. Dedicate time to mindful or meditation exercises, concentrating on the present moment, cultivating a sense of calm and well-being, and to support a hormonal health. It is vital to explore the various activities and discover what brings you pleasure, joy, and a pain relief. Now, coming to the last part, the strategies to promote hormone release and enhance the happiness. Now, you can integrate a number of strategies into your daily life to increase the hormone release and happiness. Here are some successful techniques. First is a regular exercise. Particularly the aerobic exercise and activity stimulates the release of endorphins, dopamine, and the other feel-good hormones. Aim for at least 150 minutes per week of moderate intensity, 75 minutes per week of vigorous exercise. Find enjoyable exercises like jogging, dancing, cycling, swimming, and incorporating them into your daily routine. Next is your nurture the positive relationship and the social connections. Nurturing the positive relationship and social connections are very essential to the hormonal health and contentment. Participate in social activities and spend time with the loved ones while having a meaningful conversations. Surround yourself with supportive and uplifting people who make positive contributions to your existence. Identify and incorporate the activities that bring you happiness and into your daily regime. Self-care activities include interest, creative endeavors, time spent in nature, and self-care practices. Participating in enjoyable activities stimulates the release of dopamine, endorphins, thereby enhancing the contentment and the well-being. Cultivate the gratitude and the optimism. Cultivating an attitude of gratitude and optimism can stimulate the release of the hormone which is associated with contentment and the well-being. Take time to reflect on the things that you appreciate for the positive aspects of your life on a regular basis. Consider maintaining a journal of gratitude, engaging in daily affirmations to reinforce the positive thought patterns. Get enough sleep. Sleep is very essential for hormone regulation and overall health. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night. And for the restorative sleep, establish a regular sleep schedule, create a comfortable sleeping environment, and practice a good sleep hygiene. Incorporating these strategies into your daily routine and practicing them consistently can promote a hormone release. It boosts the contentment and contribute to your overall health. And of course, there are some genetic factors which are also responsible for mood hormones and hormonal health, which are very, very substantial in nature. Our genes can influence the production, regulation, and response of various hormones in our body, which also have a deep impact on the contentment and the well-being as a whole. So here are some important details which are very important to talk about, that is the serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, and the general factors which can affect the production and release of endorphins. So body natural painkillers, hormones. So all these variations what we have talked about, they help in the synthesis of all this, helps in the metabolism, influence a person's pain sensitivity, stress response, and the well-being as a whole. So these genetic factors can also contribute to the variations in the pain tolerance, stress resistance, and the capacity to feel a pleasure. Although the genetic factors play a role in determining our hormonal happiness and well-being, they are not only the determinants. In addition to the genetic predispositions, the environmental factors like lifestyle choices, personal experiences, they also affect our happiness hormones and our hormonal happiness. So at the end, I would like to say, understanding the influence of the genetic factors on the happiness hormones can really help us obtain the insights into the individual differences in the well-being and guide the development of personalized interventions to promote the optimal hormonal balance and happiness. Despite the genetic predisposition, lifestyle choices also have a substantial impact on the health, hormonal health and happiness of the individual. Thank you so much.